Give us a second. One more. Need a good thumbnail for the front of this video. Hopefully that gets picked up by the YouTube thingy, because pause for dramatic effect. It's DEFCON 1 fine. DEFCON 1 fine. DEFCON 1. I'm not re-recording that. DEFCON 1 time. Yeah. Guys and gals, I have been wrestling with this bloody draft. I'm really glad I did it in the international breaks. It's given me a lot of time to think about it. A lot of time. Needed it. Oh, just by the way, it's going to be a competition at the end of this video for one of my very fine FPL Don't Panic t-shirts, soon to be a fashion item amongst FPL players all over the world. Probably not, but I'm going to do a competition, and it is related to the content of this video, so pay attention. Before the season started, I'd done a few drafts, as you know, on one of the tools that did projected pricing. Then we got the real game announced, we got the announcement of DEFCON, and none of the pricing was anywhere like what we thought it was. And a lot of defenders that would have normally picking up 4.5, 5 million were suddenly 5, 5.5, and indeed 6 million. And I did sort of try and do a bit of analysis around DEFCON. It's going to affect the game, but how much? You might have to start thinking about 4-4-2s at some point. And as you started putting drafts together, using the real pricing, and we started getting information, looking into information around players last year, like your Tarkowskis and Virgil van Dijks, etc. And you started thinking, geez, probably this could change the formations, how we play the game. And it's a template, a new template going to emerge, and it was one of the reasons why I did talk about an early chip strategy, as some of you recall, to get ahead of that template. And one of the reasons why I thought about, the wildcard 4 originally, it has sort of gone off, and other reasons have forced it, namely all the injuries that I've had. You know what? I'm kind of glad my hand's been forced. I think it is time, if not to go DEFCON 1, to certainly have 5 defenders together that are DEFCON monsters, and be prepared to play those 5 in any given game week. And indeed, as the more I've looked at this, I think it kind of gets me out of my game week 5 jam with this wild card. The more analysis I do around it, I think it actually gives me a really steady base of points there for what is going to be a very, very difficult fixture, game week 5 fixture week. It's it's a bit of a mess, to be fair. Got the chart there. There. And that's obviously the list of defenders who are the leading point scorers. So there's a few interesting points there to make. In the top 20 or 30 players in FPL at the moment, I think there's only 3 forwards there. Midfielders do almost, but not quite, match defenders. It's actually a fairly similar drop till you get down to that sort of 5-point average with midfielders. But of course, the 20 midfielders going through that, one, they're harder to predict, to be fair. There's some players there that will absolutely not be there at the end of the season. And of course, they are significantly more expensive, achieving not quite as good money. You've still got the depth there. You've still got the depth there to bound to about 20 players that are achieving that. But they're obviously significantly more expensive. There's a few in there, sort of 5.5s, I guess. But the vast majority, the 6.5, 7.5s, 8s, etc., etc. What does this mean? It means we need 5 players who are DEFCON kings and can play them in any given game week, and maybe just play them because the averages show that they will come out better. There are anomalies in there, and those are the ones that I think are your. If I look at this, so I can see it clearly myself. So you do have your Calafiores and your Chalobahs. Is Chalobah really going to get a goal and assist every sort of 3, 4, 5 games? He's not. He'll will eventually be overtaken by a DEFCON monster. And the same with Timber. His points are largely made up of one big anomaly week. And of course, Timber and Calafiori could well be minutes risks as Arsenal players get defenders back to fitness, White, etc., etc. But then you're moving into your Sinisis, your Guehis, your Lacroix, Cucurella, another, not really an anomaly. I rate Cucurella a hell of a lot, and I think he will be up there in those top 10 sort of 10ish defenders at the end of the season. But it still will, the Sinisis, the Guehis, the Lacroix, the Burns, etc. They're going to be right up there for significantly less money and more consistent point scoring. The baseline for defenders, there is just no other way. I know it's only 3 game weeks of data, but this is showing it, and just sheer logic says you've got a defender. He starts at 2 points. Hopefully, doesn't pick up a booking. Hopefully, doesn't concede more than 2 goals. Gets his DEFCON. It's 4 points. 1 in 5 game weeks. On average, you would expect a Crystal Palace, or a Liverpool, or best ones, Bournemouth, Newcastle. Expect them to keep a clean sheet on average, 1 in 5, or maybe that's if you've got the right sort of players there, like a Burn or someone like that, or Lacroix or Sinisi. They've shown attacking potential. Tarkowski as well. That they will get, say 2 or 3 goals a year, maybe a couple of assists if you're lucky. Maybe between 2 and 5 attacking returns, which isn't a lot, but when you're then adding that on to a potential assist or 2 points, so close to an assist every second game, but these guys are achieving it more than that at the moment. Every second game, that doesn't sound very exciting in a one-off game week. You stack that up across a season, you're talking huge points. It's blatantly obvious now as it's starting to unfold. It's picking the right players, isn't it? It's picking the right players that are going to achieve that. As is with any FPL team. So I am going this path to a degree. I'll show you the team as I've got it at the moment. Flip that up there. And throw me up in my usual little corner. Got a bit more room here. So I'll show you the team first. Likely to be changes, but probably more likely the decisions I need to make with the midfield and strikers, particularly with some things with these new transfers that have come in the last day or so. The window. That's what it looks like at the moment. I don't think that back five is going to change, and I'll show you the numbers in the spreadsheet and why I think I will stick with that. Run through it just very quickly before I bring the spreadsheet up. Yeah, so currently, where are we? Looking on 2 screens. Yeah, so I think I may well stick with Petrovic. We'll talk about that in the spreadsheet briefly. Lacroix, Tarkowski, Sinisi, Virgil and Byrne, they're all DEFCON monsters. Very surprised Virgil is. Virgil is actually only averaging 4, but I think he's been an underperformer. He's been getting his DEFCON, but Liverpool haven't really been keeping too many clean sheets. But he's still averaging. He's very close to the 5 average, anyways. Even though I think he probably has one of the higher ceilings, and we do know he will get between 2 and 4 goals just based on history. He will get on the end of a few corners. But all these guys, a little bit of attacking potential. It's a very boring defense. That's the only thing I don't like about this. But we're playing the game, and everything points towards you need 5 defenders of this ilk. So, and I do, as I say, I know you'll have your Calafioris, etc. That will have their brief moment. There's some that have these, some attacking anomalies, and they will come through. But on average across the season, these guys are going to come out on top. So if I can find the right ones and move them in and out the way I would normally do with my spreadsheet, and if you can stay on those ones that are achieving DEFCON, it's just huge. And I think getting on that template as early as you can, or have the right players in place so you can move to it easily, which is kind of what I'm doing. So I've set that out at the moment as a back five. That may change. I may just hedge my bets a little and go a 4-4-2. Still thinking about that. Gakpo, Semenyo, Rodri, Grant. We'll talk about more about that in a second. And TK and Haaland up front. I've got Mateta on the bench. What the hell are you doing, Desmond, with Mateta on the bench at the moment for Sunderland at home? And the reason I've just got him there at the moment is, at the moment I've got over 3 million in the bank. I might strip Mateta down. You know, it's a tricky one because he's got two good fixtures, but I want to feel like I'm booking myself another transfer, and having this team out, which still will have some flexibility, and there's still some decent forward options for some potential rotations. But I could strip Mateta down to a Thiago, maybe. Then I've still got a decent playing bench, and even the forward, although it's just what's Thiago 6 million. He's on penalties, and there's some decent fixtures there. Thinking about that one, it's just that having 4.5 million in the bank will be very, very useful, because I will ultimately do believe, and even without doing Mateta, I still actually have enough in the bank to bring Ekatike up to Isaac, and then Gakpo to Bruno, if I decide to go that way. But I want even a bit more flexibility than that, supposing I do actually think, actually I want to bring Palmer back. So that's one of the ones I'm wrestling with. But let's just have a look at it actually by the numbers with the spreadsheet, which might make things a little clearer. You can go down. Right. Yeah, that'll do it. Just make that very large for you guys. Cool. Now this does bring the video I did the other day, where I wasn't going down with this DEFCON 1 strategy, does bring my averages down a little bit. But as I say, the numbers, as I say, after just 3 game weeks, take them with a grain of salt. But it is showing that this team, going out with the Burns, Nisi, Lacroix, Van Dijk, and Tarkowski, would have done a 75, 61, and a 64 in the first 3 game weeks, and that's obviously without captaincy. Where I do like this, as you can see, they've all either achieved 3 or 2 DEFCON in the last 3 game weeks. They've achieved them in easy fixtures. They've achieved them in difficult fixtures, and that's where I like how that helps me out for game week 5 to try and strengthen things up there. Where there are difficult fixtures, or I've got City away to Arsenal. That could be a good fixture for Rodri if I stick with Rodri, of course. I've got some decent stuff on the bench there. If I keep Mateta in particular, can have Mateta coming in there. And move to a front 3. If indeed I don't go a front 3 this week. Still decisions to be made here, guys. This is very, very much about the DEFCON monsters. But I just feel with those 5 defenders that, and that currently Burns averaging 5.6 and EC 8.3. He has got an anomaly in there with I think it was his attacking return. So even taking a few points off there, for that is still good. Even if you halved it, his numbers are still good. If you have that 14 down to a 7. Incredibly consistent and decentish fixtures. Lacroix at 7.3, and Van Dijk the one there, which is only averaging 4. And do I think the way he's going, he's still going to get DEFCON? I guess so. And fixtures there would indicate that there's potential clean sheets on the horizon, anyways. One of the things I was wanting to see here is are these defenders likely to only get DEFCON in difficult fixtures, or will they pick them up because of the way they play in the easier fixtures as well? Because that's where the holes are, obviously getting the clean sheet, getting DEFCON, maybe one day, an attacking return, and all of a sudden there's a 15, 16, 17 pointers. A Senesi 14 pointer, if that's what we want. And we can see there that there, there's a reasonable spread there of points. It shows that good points will be achieved, or should be achieved in difficult fixtures, as well as the easier ones. I like it. I like it. It's very boring. This is the most unexciting defense. Would I like your Menozes and your 8 Noris? Yeah. I like the points more. I like the points more, and the numbers point towards it. Midfield, my dilemma's there, obviously. So I've spoken about this before, so I'm not going to go too much into it. I've spoken about it in other videos. Obviously, the Gapco Etikite issue, who's going to lose minutes, etc., etc. Before Isak starts eating into them. Isak did get, I think, 20 for Sweden. I think he got 20, about 20 minutes or so. I don't think there's an earthly that he's going to start the game against Burnley. So I actually do think having Gapco and Etikite for that game, I think most people will have one. I think having both may even in itself be a little bit of a differential. And I think my strength on the bench means if I do feel there's a high risk in game week 5, that I could, I've got players on the bench there to cover that a wee bit. And the back 5 again just helps with that. That if I do have to bench one until I build up a transfer or two to move them out, if I feel there's a high risk there, I think they're okay for the next 2. What I need to do is and this squad again allows me to do that, is roll a few transfers so that then I can move, because as I say, I've got that 3 million plus in the bank. I can move Etikite to Isak, should I choose to, and I can move Gapco up to Bruno in it once he's got these couple. I was tempted to bring Bruno in on this draft to save me a transfer further down the line, but the fixtures are pretty crap for the next couple. And I do like the look of this team now. I feel a lot happier about my game week 5. Game week 6 looks great. Game week 7 looks good. Game week 8 even I think actually looks fine. I think game week 9 even looks okay. Because I'll have a couple of Arsenal boys in by game week 7 as well for their easier fixtures. It looks pretty decent right the way out to 10. But Des, what if it all goes wrong? What if it doesn't work? No, that would be bad. But what if it does? I think more people are starting to look at this now and realize, I think people are starting to realize now it's just having that, taking that chance and going over the edge with DEFCON. I think I'm going to go with the back 4, but I may well go the back 5 this week. I've just got to work out, if I go the back 5, then I might as well sell Mateta and have that money in the bank, because it really does give me tremendous buying power across 5, 6, 7 to get the Arsenal boys, to bring in Isak, to even potentially go to a Haaland. Do I want Bruno? I'll have plenty of money there. But even though with all that money in the bank, I still like the look of this team. Will it work? Don't know for sure. And I can't even judge it on one game week. I have to let this play out to see the averages across, 3, 4, 5. I've got to pretty much play this through till 10. But I think I've got enough flexibility in the squad to do that and to monitor it and see how it stacks up on the averages. But if you look at this, I should have added this up. Actually, I can do it off screen here. Bear with me. In game week 1, those 5 defenders would have brought in 26 points. So it's an average of just over 5. In game week 2, those 5 defenders would have given you 25 points. It's an average of 5. In game week 3, because we had our nice little Senesi anomaly, and one of those is going to come some weeks. Came in at 40 points. And they will come in. You'll get a clean sheet some week and someone gets that goal. Suddenly, bump. but I like the consistency of that 25 points a lot. So it's competition time. Competition time. I may well go with this back 5 and just take the leap of faith. Now, whether I do or whether I don't, doesn't matter, because we can still run this competition. So for your chance to win an FPL Don't Panic t-shirt sent to anywhere in the world, please be in Ireland or England or New Zealand, how many points do you think that back 5 will score? 5 Burn, Sinisi, Lacroix, Van Dijk, Tarkowski. Don't need the individuals, but as a unit, same as I showed you the 26, 25, 40. So there's a nice range there of variance from the 25 to the 40. Or maybe you think it's going to come in with a 12, or 14, or 15. Don't know. How many points do you think that back 5 will score? Because I don't think I'm going to be changing it. And even if it doesn't, I'll stick with that back 5 anyways, even if I did make a tweak on it. That's those, excuse me, those 5 players. Burn, Sinisi, Lacroix, Van Dijk, Tarkowski. What is the total amount of points that you think they're going to finish with in game week 4? In the event that more than one person gets it right, I will do a live on-air draw. In the event that, other than that, it's going to be whoever is closest. And in the event that 2 or more people have the same level of closeness, then I'll do a draw again. Answers in the comments. Okay, so I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to run this again. I might mention it, and if I do a later video with any final adjustments to this. But answers in the comments of this video. How many points? Burns, Sinisi, Lacroix, Van Dijk, Tarkowski. How many points do you think they're going to score this week? 15, 40, 20, 7, none. They all get sent off. Minus, whatever it is, minus 10. Yeah, answers in the comments. I know some of you won't approve of this, my tactic. And I know some of you will. And that's what makes this game bloody interesting, isn't it? Take care, have fun, play your own game, don't panic. Answer for the competition in the comments. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.